Hey, I'm Steve from the Tree Projects. Dr. Jen and I have travelled all the way to the Sunshine Coast in Queensland to take part in the Mary Cairncross BioBlitz event.
A BioBlitz is an event where many different scientists come together to study the rainforest. They do this to discover what plants and animals live here.
What makes the Mary Cairncross BioBlitz event so special is that they're going to be studying 5 huge fig trees. The scientists are going to be studying these trees from the very ground all the way up to the canopy. Professional arborists have been employed to help the scientists get into the treetops. For many of the scientists, it's possibly their first time ever in a tree.
Yes, this is my first time going up a tree 50 meters up into a fig tree. It's going to be fun. So there's a tiny little fungi just growing here. There's like 3 of them and they're really gorgeous. So the BioBlitz at Mary Cairncross is very special in the sense that a variety of scientists are going to research the trees for the different biodiversity that's growing and being sustained by these trees. And also being at Mary Cairncross, it creates public outreach. So people are going to be learning about what we're doing and therefore learning about how important it is to conserve everything that we've still got living on Earth.
Morning. Early morning entomologists. We're working on dung beetles and we're doing surveys of what's going on at the ground level and in a gradation of traps up to the tops of the trees.
My name's Kathy Ebert. I'm a PhD student at the University of Queensland and I'm studying dung beetles, in particular the dung beetles that live in rainforests. Well, in other studies, as Jeff mentioned, they have found dung beetles up in the trees looking at bird poo and droppings in the trees. So it would be really neat if we could find some dung beetles that are up there that haven't been surveyed on the ground before. There's a few species we don't know their behaviour very well, like the big dung beetle, the Allocophorus, is the biggest dung beetle in Australia. And we wonder if it's up in the treetops looking for bat guano or bird droppings, something like that.
The whole concept of a BioBlitz is to bring a lot of different people from different areas of science together to work with a common purpose, and that's worked out very well, and it's been great to mix with all these other people with different interests and lots of keen volunteers and even the people coming from the public to look at us. It's been great.
My name is Anita Freudman and I'm a bat ecologist. I mainly want to find out how to best set up the sound recorders that we're using to detect bat calls, both at ground level and up there in the canopy.
You see how it's been open and all there is in it?
So this is a sound recorder. It picks up the ultrasonic calls of the bats and then you can look at the calls and try to figure out what species it is. We also set up nets yesterday and we caught a blossom bat, which is related to flying foxes. It's a tiny fruit bat but actually feeds on nectar and it's just this small. And that's exciting because it wasn't listed for the reserve yet, so that's new.
My name's Dr. Jen Sanger and I'm an epiphyte ecologist. The BioBlitz is really cool because we have access to these giant fig trees. An epiphyte is a plant that grows on another plant. So where we are at the moment, in the top of a canopy, we have a whole bunch of ferns and orchids that grow exclusively up here in the tops of the trees. So this Sunshine Coast BioBlitz is so amazing because we get to properly understand what species are growing here in the Mary Cairncross Reserve. Without knowing what animals and plants actually live here, we aren't able to protect these species properly.
In total, there are 10 scientists here at the BioBlitz, but there are also 6 artists also documenting the events and what the scientists find.
The BioBlitz is a great opportunity for artists to connect with scientists, and that connection then is brought into our visual diaries through imagery and text.
All of us artists are documenting the BioBlitz. My take on it is nature journaling, and that is drawing and writing in response to nature.
It's a great way to bring the two very different disciplines together. You know, whilst we've got scientists who approach things very analytically, and artists with a lateral approach to seeing the same things. It's a beautiful synergy of two different ways of looking at the same thing, and I think we've both got enormous amounts to benefit from articulating what the scientific world is trying to communicate.
It's a really simple way to share with an audience what's behind the scenes in the forest in a way. We've got the privilege of spending a few moments off the track to hear sounds and see things and feel things that possibly you don't get to experience when you're just walking through the forest. So if what we're doing here can share with people a bit more of what's in the forest and encourage them to spend a bit more time in there, I think that's a really valuable experience.
Apart from the scientists and the artists, there are many other people involved in this BioBlitz. There are over 30 volunteers, 15 students from the local university and traditional owners as well. The BioBlitz has been funded by gold coin donations from visitors when they come to the Mary Cancross Reserve. These small but consistent donations have allowed this wonderful event to take place, so we thank you.
As you can see, this event has been a huge success. The scientists have collected hundreds of different samples, and it'll be a few more weeks of identification before we know exactly what they've discovered.
We thank everyone who's been involved. The scientists, the artists, the traditional owners, the volunteers, and you, the general public.
So that's it from the Mary Cancross Reserve and the BioBlitz for 2019. Thanks for watching.